It's okay to bring it, but you should turn it off. And even if it's on vibrate, most people cannot avoid the temptation of trying to figure out who it is. As far as your laptop or your iPad, you can use it to take notes, but as far as getting on Facebook or YouTube or any of the social media, you need to stay focused on what's going on in class. The best thing to do is let us know, because there's some flexibility in all this, and go ahead and do it as soon as possible, and be sincere about it. I think you'll find that when it's all said and done, the professor is basically a referee and makes the call on the grade. So the more they know about the reasons, the better. For one thing, chit-chat in the classroom is really an insult to the professor. Legible handwriting, equations that are just written all over the place with no particular order. It's really essential, if you're going to be an engineer, that you document your work, and in order to do that, you need to be able to write legibly. I know everybody thinks, oh, we've got computers and we can just write this stuff down, we can type it out on the computer. What you need to understand is that when you do something, for instance, in a laboratory setting, those notes and the things that you do and all of your calculations are done by hand. And the reason they're done by hand is because if you're ever in a courtroom, those handwritten notes are what go into court. Not something on a computer that can be easily edited, but something that is written in ink and is in a lab journal or a lab notebook, and it has to be very neat.
Probably the biggest one is not putting your section number, especially in classes where we have, if there's only one section, not that big a deal, but classes with multiple sections, labs, things like that, please put your section number.
One thing I'd like to see in my class is students paying attention to class, taking notes, being engaged, being interested, being in class, and not being distracted by other things like cell phones and video games. Because if you can listen in class and understand and participate, you've got more than half the battle licked right there.
Treat your schoolwork as a job. Even if you don't have an 8 o'clock class, get up in the morning, eat breakfast to get your day going. If you don't have an 8 o'clock class, start doing your homework, your reading, whatever it is that you have to do to prepare for class. Don't be afraid to go talk to your professor. They're more than willing to help. They want to help, and so go visit them and get to know them, ask them questions. Very important is to study regularly. Not in long blocks, but maybe hour blocks. And I would say, if you will study your notes after a class or that evening, or at least sometime before the next class period, you'll go over those notes and recopy them is what I used to do. And then I would add things and keep them in a 3-ring binder or something like that. It's nice to be able to insert pages. And then when you finish the latest set, go back to day 1 and go over all those. And you're going to find by the time you come to test time, you're basically going to have memorized your notes, which is very important.
My biggest piece of advice would be ask questions. A lot of students, for whatever reason, have a hard time coming and asking professors or getting help from your friends or upperclassmen. So ask questions in class, ask questions outside of class.